Hello, I'm Father Paul, the pastor of St. Gabriel's. If you didn't know that, then welcome to this celebration of our wonderful St. John's campus. I wanted to tell a story about my first experience here in this church, which, as you know, was built in 1969. And on July 1st, 2020, it was my official first day as your pastor. And when I got here, I was moving into the rectory, but I hadn't gone into the office yet. But I needed to say Mass, and I thought it would be nice to come into the church that's right next to where I live and offer Mass on the altar. And since the side chapel here is a little bit more secluded, and since it was just me, I thought, I'll say Mass here. So on this very altar is where I said my first Mass as your pastor, just by myself. And as I offered that Mass, I was thinking of you, even though I didn't know any of you yet. And I was praying for God's blessing on our parish. So anytime I come back into the side chapel here, which is every Mass I say, because we come to the tabernacle, it's a little reminder to me of my very first day as your pastor.
Hola, mi nombre es Elizabeth Pulido Hernández y yo soy miembro de aquí de San Gabriel Arcángel. Ya llevamos aquí mi familia y yo más de 10 años sirviéndole al Señor, y gracias a Dios pues yo pude hacer mi confirmación aquí en esta parroquia, y ahora actualmente sirvo aquí como proclamadora, y ha sido una gran bendición poder darle mi servicio tanto a la gente de esta comunidad tan bella, como al igual también seguir creciendo en mi fe y dándole servicio al Señor. Así que yo estoy muy agradecida por todo el crecimiento que hemos tenido, porque la verdad hemos visto bastantes cambios en mi familia. Tal vez ustedes conozcan a mi papá Vicente Pulido, el cual tiene un gran testimonio, y gracias a Dios pues él ha podido salir de muchas batallas, y como familia hemos fortalecido esa fe en Dios, y pues gracias a Dios todos estamos sirviendo aquí. Así que pues yo espero que esta comunidad, aunque ya no vamos a estar aquí, sigamos creciendo en nuestra fe, y que sigamos ahora sí que practicando lo que es ser un buen católico. Así que los espero aquí ahora en la nueva parroquia, y que continuemos siendo la parroquia de San Gabriel Arcángel. Gracias.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Samuel García, pertenezco a esta parroquia, San Gabriel Arcángel. Alrededor de 6-7 años llegué aquí. Dios me llamó por alguna razón. El motivo de llegar a esta parroquia fue porque traje a mis hijas a hacer su primera comunión. Y bueno, el Señor ya tenía ese plan que siempre tiene para cada uno de nosotros. Y Él me atrapó, y aquí estoy. Desde entonces sirvo a la parroquia. He estado como catequista, ministro de Eucaristía y proclamador. Estoy muy agradecido con Dios y con toda esta comunidad que nos ha brindado su acompañamiento y su apoyo. Ahora que ya nos vamos a consolidar al otro campus, esperamos en Dios de que todos sigamos unidos, sigamos apoyándonos, y por qué no seguir en el otro campus, que es San José. Gracias.
We're here to talk about the environment and our work on the liturgical environment. I've been working on this for 40-some years.
I started in the mid-'80s, so I'm new.
But one thing that we would like to share, I guess, just to give you an idea of what this has meant to us. And it has to do with the saying of a woman, comment that a woman had made to Char Murphy. And it had to do with the Good Friday service. And it was the purple banner.
It was a purple banner with a red banner that had been torn over the top of it.
And we pinned that ever so gently into the purple fabric to make it look as if it was cascading. On the top of the banner, we hung a grapevine wreath that at a distance looked like it could have been a crown. On the crown, then, we had very, very fine fish line because we never wanted anybody to see how we did it. We just wanted them to see and be inspired by it. And we had this fish line that was very fine, different lengths. And at the bottom of the fish line, we had red beveled beads that at a distance would look like it was a crown of thorns with the droplets of blood. And the lady shared with Shar, isn't it amazing that the blood of Christ has become jewels? If I've done that, if we have done that for one person, I feel blessed. It has been a privilege over these 40-some years to work on this. And there's just one thing that I would like to leave, unless there's something else you'd like to share.
No.
One thing that I would like to leave, and that is the memory of St. John the Evangelist. And we will remember it only as it brings us pleasure. And we look to the future with its enduring promise of hope.
One of the things I love about the St. John's Church is that everybody is so close. So when I stand here at the Ambo on Sundays and I look out as I preach and I see the little kids running around back here, or I see the teenage sisters fighting somewhere in the middle, or so-and-so who's asleep, back, or someone's cell phone ringing over there. It's all so close to me, and it feels like I can so easily talk from my heart to your heart as I stand here. And that is sincerely something I really love about this church, how close we all feel to each other. Even at the altar, but especially as I preach. It feels like there's just that ability to connect in a personal and special way.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Pedro, mi esposa Rosa y mis hijos. Somos la familia Nares y hemos estado aquí desde el 2009 en esta parroquia. Ellos han crecido aquí en formación, en fe, y hasta la fecha somos miembros de esta parroquia de San Gabriel y la verdad estamos muy contentos de estar aquí. Y voy a darle espacio a ellos para que ellos expresen su sentimiento de esta parroquia.
Bueno, yo como madre de familia de la familia Nares, estamos bendecidos y agradecidos de estar aquí en esta parroquia desde estas fechas que trajimos a nuestros hijos a hacerse sus sacramentos, bautismos, primeras comuniones y confirmaciones. Y para nosotros es una bendición estar en esta parroquia, ser parte de la comunidad de San Gabriel Arcángel.
Un recuerdo no sé cómo se llama, pero un recuerdo que yo quiero que me queda en mi mente es la boda de mis madres y mis padres.
Mi recuerdo favorito era cuando era la celebración de María y llegaron todos a celebrar y era muy divertido.
A mí me ha tocado desde chiquillo, que yo he crecido en esta iglesia, en esta parroquia, desde cuando era San Juan, al menos en esta iglesia. Y pues hemos crecido como familia, como amigos aquí también, de los diferentes gente de esta iglesia que hemos crecido con. Y sí, yo estoy muy bendecido de estar aquí y agradecido de mis padres por haber escogido esta iglesia, esta parroquia.
Yo ando bien bendecido de venir a esta iglesia porque aquí conocí mis 3 amigos, el Antonio, Benny y el Omar, y las memorias que hemos tenido aquí, jugando en el gym, los sábados durante el grupo de oración, jugando videojuegos aquí, y ha sido un bien tiempo aquí. Aunque solamente damos gracias como familia y queremos seguir caminando en la fe con nuestro Señor Jesucristo. Amén.
Hi, my name is Katie Schaefer, and this is my daughter Madeline, or Maddie Schaefer. My role at the church for the last 20 years was as music director, and I also taught music and band at the parish school. And I grew up in this parish. So my parents, Margaret and Pat Lesage, raised me in the church, and it was very formative for me because I participated in Mass and sang and played my flute. And I went to the school. Years later, 30 years later, we came back. And my daughter went to the parish school and participated in Mass. So this church and this community hold a very special place in my heart because of all the formation. This is where I feel Christ. This is where I come in communion with the saints and my parents. I'd say my biggest role in the church has been in music, and it's been a privilege to get to lead our parish in song. I have just been so grateful to the choir and Jim Keene and Jenny Menya and my daughter Maddie Schaefer and all the people that have been
music makers.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, so my role growing up was growing up, and so my mom would be singing the music, and my grandma would be working as a sacristan. So I remember like a couple of like late Christmas masses where I'd be sleeping in the last row at the like 10 p.m. mass, or just living in this church and getting to be a part of this building and this space. It has so much importance, so much historical value in our hearts, and how we grew up together and how our family worked. And like sometimes even I'd be an altar server and my mom would be singing and my grandma sacristan. So we were trifecta there.
We called ourselves the Three Musketeers,
Yeah, totally.
but this was our connection always. This parish.
And the school was a big, huge part, and I'll go too off track here, but I first started doing musicals at St. John's, the school, and now that's my profession. So I really, all of my life is carrying music, and this is the place that fostered that excitement and joy. So
Another great thing about this parish was when our school was on campus, the kids would do Mass, and often there'd be like a grandparents' day reception in the gym. So the parishioners would come over and support the school kids, go to the parish musical, just very interconnected. So Maddie feels like she had about 30 to 40 grandparents growing up who were parishioners.
still do.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll miss this place, but we know the spirit of the parishioners and our Lord will stay with us.
But an amazing community we built.
Yes. Thank you for the chance to thank you all. And God bless you moving forward. Amen.
My memories of St. John's go back to 2000, and my husband and I and the 4 boys, we were living in Tallahassee, Florida, and he told me that we were going to move to Minneapolis, and I did not want to move to Minneapolis. And he asked me, well, I loved my house in Florida, I loved the kids' school, I loved our neighborhood, and he said, is there anything that could make life better in Minneapolis? And the only thing I could think of was that my kids could walk to school. So we found a house in this neighborhood, and we moved here because of the church and the school. And my children did walk to school, to St. John's, and I was so happy they could do that. They even rode their little bikes here, and they put their bikes, they didn't even lock them, they put them in a little pile on the playground. And even our dog came to school. Years ago, they didn't even talk about not being secure, but they used to open the front doors of the school and let the warm breeze blow in. And our dog Marvin, a couple times I would get calls from the school, would you please come and get your dog? He would sniff his way, follow the trail of the kids, and go right in the school. But I just loved the children's mass. I think it was on Tuesday mornings, and all the classes would file in to the church, and the children would do all the readings and the petitions, and they were just tiny. They'd step up on some big block so they could reach the microphone, and they did a wonderful job. I think it probably taught some of them to not be afraid of public speaking. They started at such a young age. I just loved, we had pancake breakfast. It was a wonderful community for children. Those were my favorite memories.
I'm Robin Liebel. I was Robin Mogalski when I was here. This was my first job out of college as a youth minister, and I feel blessed to have had a lot of mentors on staff, both at St. Joe's and St. John's while I was here, and I got to know many wonderful families of kids and their families and their parents and siblings. And they're not kids anymore. They're probably in their 30s, I suppose, but I was here from 2000 to 2007, and it was quite a blessing. And I ended up getting married here too, so I have fond memories that are dear to my heart.
All right, I'm Kate. I'm Sarah, and we were very involved in the youth ministry here when we were in high school. And Sarah lives in the house next to Father's house, and so we would walk over here all the time.
And Bug, our youth group leader, Robin at the time, and we counted, it was 278 steps from my house to the youth room, and we used to bang on her door with pop bottles to get her attention down in the basement in Leo's den.
Yes, because just knocking was not loud enough. So we spent lots of time painting the walls and hanging out and probably keeping Robin from actually doing her job.
But we'll miss St. John's for sure. It was such a big part of our life. So.
One of my favorite memories from when we went to St. John's was when I was in preschool and we would do children's liturgy. So how this would work is all the children would get up in the middle of Mass and line up in the middle of the pews where we would be blessed by Father Goman, and then we would all walk in a straight line back to the community room where we would learn more about the Bible and readings, and we would occasionally sing songs together. And then when it was time for collection, we would all file back into the church, and all of the kids would bring the collection all together to the altar. And this was really nice for me because I was able to make so many new friends through children's liturgy, and these were the same friends that I stayed with throughout my years in faith formation.
Hi, my name is Omar Lara Mendez, and I am currently a freshman at the University of St. Thomas, but I have grown up in this wonderful parish my whole life, ever since I was 8 years old. And ever since then, I've been participating in ushering, but also serving as an altar server. And it's going to be although it's going to be really sad to see this, not be able to participate in this church anymore. We'll have another home, which is in Main Street, which is in St. Joe's, downtown Hopkins. And I'm very sad to see all of us move forward together from this church, but I will always remember the memories, the countless happy memories that I've experienced at this church.
Hola hermanos y hermanas, Dios los bendiga. Pues solo unas palabritas sobre mi experiencia aquí en la iglesia de San Juan, así se llamaba hace tiempo cuando muchos de ustedes llegaron para la primera misa en español. Y solo yo quiero decirles de que yo sé que mudarnos de esta iglesia a la otra iglesia, al otro campus, es como algo que para unos de ustedes es difícil porque han llamado a esta iglesia como casa y hogar. Yo quiero como solo decir que me ha dado muchísima alegría poder celebrar la misa con ustedes aquí en la iglesia donde se acostumbraban a asistir a misa por como 17 años para unos de ustedes. También quiero decir que pues obviamente la misa en español siempre estará aquí en San Gabriel y tengo ganas también de celebrarla con ustedes al otro campus, pero aquí tengo muchas lindas memorias de niños gritando y corriendo a la iglesia, por la iglesia, y como de mucho entusiasmo, y como el espíritu de ustedes me encanta y me anima. Y pues cuente con mis oraciones en este momento en que unos de ustedes están como se dice, como se puede entender que unos están como un poquito tristes, pero que confíen también en el Señor, que tiene sus excelentes planes para nosotros, para su familia, para su familia hispanohablante. Cuente con mi apoyo como su pastor y gracias por llamar a San Gabriel como su hogar espiritual. Dios los bendiga.